Hey guys, how we doing? John Anthony, Chairshot Sports. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are watching us here on YouTube and also on X, feel free to follow us on X. We're also in a space for Money in the Bank as well. Thank you for joining us, guys. What a Money in the Bank we just saw. Whether you saw what was coming, whether you didn't, whether you liked it or whether you didn't like it, guys, what is going on right now is amazing. Um, Guys, we got to start. Let's start with the men's Money in the Bank. Um, awesome, awesome match. Um, us here at Chair Shot Sports, we had this where Chad Gable was going to come on top with this. Um, looks like obviously Drew McIntyre took the briefcase, which makes a lot of sense. It's all good. He was one of the last guys to kind of get into everything and kind of get himself into the fray. We had Chad Gable going with that. It's funny, like, I'm not even mad about it. There's a lot of great spots with the Money in the Bank match. The reverse Spanish fly with Mello and Andrade, that was awesome. Hopefully both those guys are good. The Andrade Mello power bomb off the top of the rope, and it looked like Mello was going to be grabbing the belt. I'm sorry, the briefcase go to the belt. Those were all great as well. So it was really, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not trying to like foreshadow everything and kind of get into what happened down the road in the PLE, but it's wild for me for someone like Drew McIntyre to get that briefcase. I'm not trying to shit on Triple H or Paul Levesque or, any of the creative guys, Nick Khan. But the thing is, why would you waste a briefcase on the same night cash in on Drew McIntyre, right? There was very easily a better way to get Drew McIntyre into that into that match, let alone the main event. Getting him in there, it could have been a Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre main event, right? So why would you waste the briefcase to Drew McIntyre? So now we have to wait another 365 days for another Money in the Bank for another gent to grab that briefcase. It just doesn't make any sense to me. You could have very easily added Drew into that match with the same no disqualifications, with the same no countouts, with the same anything, and still had CM Punk interfere and still cost him the match. Doesn't make any sense to me. Does not make any sense to me in the least. It's wild. I mean, I get it. In Paul we trust. I'm not one to sit here and question Triple H or question Paul Levesque. I'm sure in like 3-4 months we're going to sit here. I'm going to do my podcast. I'm going to do my YouTube and go, oh, that makes sense. Now I know where we got it. It just doesn't make sense to me why a lot of guys like Chad Gable, who I said should win that, maybe a Mello, maybe an Uso, whoever could have grabbed that could have grabbed that briefcase and gotten the win. LA Knight, not the guy to win it. Obviously, he's going to go on. He's going to win that. He's going to get his U.S. title match against Logan Paul at SummerSlam, which is great. But it just boggles my mind to watch this. And I don't ever, like, if you guys watch my YouTube, you guys listen to me on the radio, I don't shit on WWE for a lot of their PLEs. This is probably the first time in a long time, maybe in 2024, that I don't get this booking. Drew McIntyre grabbing that briefcase off that ladder makes no sense to me whatsoever. I get the CM Punk angle. I get it. And God bless CM Punk. I'm glad he came back. Obviously, if you're watching some of our prediction shows, I knew CM Punk was going to come back. We all knew CM Punk was going to come back. This is why it's so wild to me that we gave Drew the briefcase. But I don't want to harp on it. I don't want to beat a dead horse. It is what it is. He won it. No one else did. I was expecting maybe a Wyatt 6 blackout when maybe Gable was claiming the ladder. I expected the Jimmy Uso come in with maybe Jay coming up or someone else climbing it, and Jimmy comes in, Jay's able to go up. But Apparently, what do I know? I'm not Paul Levesque. I'm not Nick Khan. I don't know the storyline for the next 6-7 months. So, with that being said, good on Drew McIntyre. We all know how that ended up. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So, after that, obviously a lot of great spots with those. Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn, another great match. With that being said, I'm really not trying to tear apart this PLE. I'm not trying to take it apart at all or starting to deconstruct it at all. But this match got me. Sami came out hot. He's probably the one guy being the underdog of the underground, being the one guy who can come in, be the man, still give a fight to Braun Breaker and not be a pushover, not be a squash, not be a 1-2-3, right? This was wild to me. I was okay with Braun looking vulnerable. I was okay with Sami getting his licks in, Braun kind of going the 1-2, and Sami still kind of kicking out, showing the fight, showing that he can do what he does. But the ending pissed me off. It pissed me off. And I'll tell you this right now. If you look at my predictions, we went 2 for 5. So a lot of people will sit here and go, "Oh, well, you're just mad because like you didn't predict it right." No, I'm mad because I don't understand where you go here with Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker has been booked for the past 2 months as a powerhouse menace who can't be stopped by anybody. The man retired Ricochet into another company, right? So I don't understand how Sami Zayn gets the 1-2-3 with a couple kicks, a haluva kick, and a 1-2-3. And you guys have already come for me on Twitter. Oh, how is the guy that beat Gunther going to get beat by Braun? Braun Breaker is a fucking menace, guys. Gunther was built as the general for months. Almost 2 years he was built as this. Year and a half. You guys are coming for me like Gunther and Braun are on the same level. They're not. Gunther was from NXT UK to NXT, lost a shit ton of weight, came to WWE. It was a fucking like powerhouse, went through everybody to get that IC title and ran roughshod through everybody. To compare him to Braun Breaker is crazy. Braun had an amazing year and a half run in NXT as an NXT champion, ran through everybody. A lot of the guys you see that got called up in the draft, now they're on Raw. Braun beat them. Braun was then booked on Raw to go through squash match after squash match after squash match, then beating some legitimate guys, putting Ricochet on the shelf. Again, Ricochet leaving, unfortunately, which sucks. So then you're going to book him to go mediocrity through Sami Zayn, lose with a haluva kick, 1-2-3. Are you fucking kidding me? This is what it has come to? And you guys are coming at me like, oh, it's okay, it's one loss. Yeah, it's one loss. Sami just broke Braun's fucking winning streak. I'm not looking for a Goldberg winning streak here, but I'm also not looking for Sami Zayn, who's twice, maybe not even twice the size of Braun Breaker, to walk away with a haluva kick and some lucky kicks to him with a spear to walk away as a champion. Doesn't make sense to me in the least. Where do you go from here? Please tell me in the comments. Hit me on the email, chairshotsports@gmail.com. Tell me, where do we go from here? So on Monday night comes up, and then Braun's breaking down the door of Adam Pearce. Where do we go? Does he step down and goes to Bronson Reed? Is that where we go? I don't know. Where do you go after you just lost a shot for the IC Championship? Now he goes to the back of the line. My thing is, a lot of you guys are coming at me on Twitter with, oh, it's only one loss. Do you guys watch the product? Do you guys understand where he was in the line of everything? Where do you go after demanding a shot? Sami comes around the corner, goes, you know what? You want it? You got it. And then you lose. So now what leg does Braun have to stand on? What's he going for? What's the next thing I'm going to see in 3 weeks? Am I going to see him competing on Twitter for the Speed Championship? Is that what I'm going to see? The guy was built as a killer. And we're sitting here, and now we just had him lose to Sami Zayn in the IC Championship match. And I'm not shitting on Sami Zayn in the least. Please don't think I'm doing any of that. I love Sami Zayn. He's amazing. He's obviously the underdog of the underground. If anyone's going to win that match, like I said on a lot of my shows, if anyone's going to win, it's going to be him. But what does this do for Bron Breakker? I'm very curious to see what happens on Monday night. I'm very curious. I'm hoping that the storyline with this segues into something more. I mean, you can't have him go against Sami again. All you really have right now is him going against, I guess, probably going for the World Heavyweight Championship, which is Damian Priest, who's going to be very, very full with Judgment Day things and others. So maybe he goes for that. I don't know. But I'm very, very concerned where we go with Bron Breakker from here with that match. Very concerned. Then we got a curveball. Trish Stratus comes out, talks to the Canadian crowd. Everyone's popping. I'm going to try to get emotional here. She introduces John Cena. John Cena comes down to the ring. I mean, once you could probably read what it says on his shirt. It's the Last Time Is Now tour. It's emotional for someone like me. I'm going to be 40 years old in a couple months. I remember when John Cena came down that ramp and smacked Kurt Angle in the face and said ruthless aggression. That's what makes me so good. It's tough for me. It's tough. I've met a lot of wrestlers. I've met Kurt Angle. I've met RVD. I've met Kane. I've met Ric Flair. I've met Cody Rhodes. I've met Bray Wyatt. I've never met John Cena as this wrestler. I met him back at Spooky World. I think it was back in 04 or 05. Met him when he was when he first started out as the gangster rapper gimmick. I got to meet him, and that was awesome. So that was cool. It's tough. It's tough to see him retiring. It's tough for me. Obviously, a lot of people. If we go into what the press conference was, we'll get into that after a couple more matches. The press conference definitely told you a lot. John obviously is in a very great wedding, married relationship. I'm pretty sure that those folk, his wife wants him to have some kids and not be involved in wrestling. I don't get too much foreshadowing into what the press conference was, but John pretty much said, like, hey, listen, I'm not going to wrestle anymore. I'm not going to referee. I'm not going to do any of that stuff, but I will be in the back of the house, kind of hanging out, helping some people, which is awesome. But him announcing a 2025 retirement tour is tough, man. Rumble, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania, what he announced. I'm praying to God that they come to Worcester, somewhere in Massachusetts, somewhere in Connecticut, somewhere in New York, somewhere around where I can get in there. They're coming this Friday. They're coming to Worcester. I'm getting tickets. Hopefully he pops up. Maybe I do some talking, maybe some talking points. Hopefully he shows up. So, but seeing John Cena as someone who came in when I was already in, and now he's leaving, is tough. It's tough for me, man. It's rough. It's rough, man. But with that being said, that happens. We obviously have the next title match of the night. We have Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest with a handshake agreement as a gentleman's agreement. Seth Rollins, if he loses, can no longer challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship as long as Damian Priest is champion. Damian Priest, he takes an L. No, not only does he lose his title, but he also has to give up his spot in the Judgment Day. This match was awesome. From a start to finish, you could tell like maybe 15, 20 minutes in. Once Damian Priest started hitting like moves after moves to hit Seth and knock him down, started looking over to the entrance, looking down the runway, looking for a Drew McIntyre, who obviously said if he won that briefcase was leaving Money in the Bank as a champion, looking down, looking down, looking down. So with that being said, they keep going on. Now, listen, I'm going to adjust the elephant in the room. I know Paul Levesque did in the presser. The botch, the 1, 2, 3 botch. Listen, Paul said it best. If you're a talent, you're like, guess we'll talk about it tomorrow. If you're someone watching on live TV, it is what it is, right? It's WWE. It's WWE. It's television. What are you gonna do, right? So with that being said, they botched that. Here we go. Drew's music hits. Drew comes down, goes to cash in. Now makes this a triple threat match. The first time this has happened since Seth Rollins, when he had the Heist of the Century at WrestleMania against Brock and Roman. A lot of stuff ensues. Damian, Drew, Seth, curb stomps, choke slams, claymores, missed claymores. And here we go. Seth is thrown out. Who shows up? Here's Drew, CM Punk. What did I tell you guys? For 4 or 5 days before we got to this day, CM Punk was the Drew McIntyre problem. CM Punk comes out of the crowd, screws up Drew McIntyre, beats him up, throws him outside, grabs a chair, beats him up outside, chokes him with a wire from the video, beats the hell out of Drew McIntyre, throws him back in the ring, goes and grabs the World Heavyweight Championship, sits on commentary with that belt. McIntyre rolls back in. Priest hits the South of Heaven 1, 2, 3. Pins Drew. Listen, I'm trying to contain my emotions right now. If you're watching me, if you're tuning in, listen to what I have to say right now. I'm fucking pissed. I'm pissed. As a wrestling fan, if you're not upset right now, there's something wrong with you. Okay? There was no reason whatsoever for whoever in creative, whether it was Paul, Nick, Bruce, I don't give a shit who booked this match. There was no reason whatsoever to have Drew McIntyre win that briefcase. There's no reason. There's no reason. You could have made this a triple threat match and had Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre face off for the title. It had them go. That way someone doesn't look weak. Whoever's going to win, doesn't matter. You're going to literally waste a briefcase on Drew McIntyre, taking away from Gable, who was our pick. LA Knight, he's going to get his title. But even Uso, like Andrade, you're going to take that case away from all these other guys for him to cash in the same night to just solidify the CM Punk storyline. Listen, a lot of us, I'm sure everyone watching right now, everyone listening to me on Twitter, you guys aren't stupid. I don't understand. There was a lot of other ways to get this done and to get this made, to use the briefcase. Now we have to wait literally, it's a little after midnight right now, so 364 days for the next Money in the Bank for another guy, another gent, to be able to cash the briefcase in. This is nuts to me. It doesn't make any sense. And no disrespect to Paul, no disrespect to creative, but it really doesn't resonate with me why we had to go this way, why we had to go this route. There was a lot of other ways you could have gotten here and given the briefcase to someone who could have carried it on for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. It's wild to me. It's just, it doesn't. I don't get it. I don't get it. And again, in Paul I trust. At the end of the day, I'm gonna finish this show. I'm gonna finish this space, and I'm gonna go, all right, well, I guess we'll see what happens in 2-3 months. I'm gonna sit there and go, oh, that was the reason why. So I guess that it is what it is, right? So, but I guess I feel bad. I feel bad for Drew McIntyre in the first place because Drew deserves better. I like Drew. I like what he's done. I like what he's done with his gimmick. I like what he's done with his character. I think he deserves better. And I know he's in the space right now where he needs to keep losing to Punk because eventually him and Phil are going to have their one-off, right? Whether it be SummerSlam or War Games, whatever they're going to figure out. They need to have that. But it just doesn't make sense to me that you need to sacrifice the money in the bank for someone else who could have had that, who now will not have that. That's my one blemish. So kudos to Damian Priest. I'm glad, I've said it before, I'm glad he retained the belt. A lot of people have said he's a paper champion, transitional champion. It's good to see him get that. It's going to be now him and Gunther at SummerSlam. I've said it before. He's going to go over at SummerSlam, and then Gunther at Bash in Berlin will finally realize or solidify his reign as a champion, whatever that may be, over in Berlin. But I'm happy for Damian Priest. I'm glad to see him win that. It means a lot for him. I think it means a lot for his fans, and it's good to see him win that. So, with that being said, on to the next match, which was the women's Money in the Bank match. Guys, if I'm talking to you right now, if you're hearing me on YouTube, if you're hearing me on a space, guys, this was probably the worst women's Money in the Bank matches I've ever seen. And no disrespect to any of them, to Io, to Chelsea, to Valkyria, to Naomi, to Tiffany, or to Zoe. But the botches that happened in this match were unforgivable. And I really hope that these girls learn from what they did. I really hope everyone's okay. That's my main focus. I don't care what happens. You can botch, you can miss. I just want everyone to be okay. That's my main concern. There was literally a spot where Zoe Stark, literally, her head bounced off the back of the ladder. Io Sky, toward the end of the match, bounced her tailbone off the ladder. That was concerning as well. So it's just, I really hope everyone's okay. Now, I've said it before, and you can take this as sexist if you want. You can take this as, I wish the women would not do the women's Money in the Bank in a ladder match. And I mean that because you want to get scientific with this. You want to go crazy. Women's bodies are not built the same as men's, right? So when we created ladder matches, we weren't like, okay, well, women are going to bounce off ladders too. Obviously, they're not metal. They're very much plastic or like that quasi metal kind of stuff. I feel bad. I feel very bad. I love these women. I love all the divas that are in, and all the women are in these matches. So I just hope in the future, whether it's Bloom, whoever's booking this match, I hope they kind of get like their stuff in line. They figure it out. Naomi did a great job. She knew someone was hurt. She kind of did a light move on her off the ropes. So, but at the end of the day, I died on this hill, and apparently I won. I said Tiffany Stratton was going to win this match probably 3.5 months ago. I knew she was going to win this ever since she got called up. She was lost in the sauce 2 months ago with the Jade Cargill called up, Bianca Belair, them guys getting the tag matches, other people coming over from the draft, Chelsea Green, all that stuff. Tiffany got lost in the sauce. I knew she needed this belt. And that's exactly what happened tonight. Very excited for that. Very excited that she won that. Very much earned. I think it's going to be a great, great heel run with her having that briefcase. She showed a little bit of that tonight. Obviously, challenging Trish. Trish fucking Stratus. She's challenging Trish Stratus. What are we doing here? That is some foreshadowing to another pay-per-view down the road. Very exciting. It was awesome to see Trish Stratus in this PLE. I was hoping she might get involved a little bit, maybe done something with Zoe Stark, but that's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the outcome. The fact that we had Tiffany Stratton winning and War 1A was Chelsea Green. Those two were at the top. Chelsea Green, unfortunately, had to eat some tables. It's all good. But she did an amazing job. Those two ladies are amazing. Tiffany is going to do a great job with that briefcase. Chelsea has some awesome stuff going as well. and the other four ladies will do awesome as well. So a great women's ladder match at the end of the day. Tiffany Stratton is your new 2024 women's Money in the Bank. Very excited for that. And of course, here we go. The cherry on top, the frosting on the cake was the Bloodline versus Cody and RKO, which was Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. This match pretty much slammed from pillar to post. It was great. We had talked about it a lot in the past week. I had told you that Bloodline needs to win this match. Solo Sikoa needs to pin Cody Rhodes. At the end of the day, that's exactly what happened. Solo pinned Cody 1, 2, 3. And the reason for that is, as I said, those two going to SummerSlam. That match is going to be awesome. Roman will make his return to SummerSlam. Then we'll go to War Games. Then we'll make our way to the Rumble, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania. If you want to know all the stuff that I talked about as far as that goes, tune into our YouTube. Take a look at our episodes. We'll remap everything out for you guys as far as from now until Mania in April. So the match was great. There's nothing else I can say. Jacob Fatu was just amazing. He showed up. He showed out. He showed why he's an amazing addition to the Bloodline and just an amazing addition to WWE. I think a lot of people sleep on the guys in the Bloodline. Not a lot of them wrestle. No one knows what they can do. Jacob Fatu is the one guy being the werewolf. He's no joke. That guy will hurt people. And take a look at the couple of the spots that happened in the match. I think there was one where he came off the top rope and went to go elbow Kevin Owens, and he literally hit KO in the face with his elbow, like literally, like 1-2. Like it's one of those things where he came from New Japan, and it just kind of in New Japan they don't give a shit. Like it's that strong style kind of style of, I guess, wrestling, where you get hit in the face. Okay, cool. I'll keep going. Let's go. Like, keep the match going. There was a lot of those instances. Randy Orton had one. Cody had one. But this Bloodline is solid. I'm very excited to see how we get to SummerSlam and when Roman returns, where we go from here. Obviously, I've said before, I think Roman returns. The Usos unite, and to get Roman over in that way, shape, and form, you get Cody to shake Roman's hand in the middle of the ring. It's not even a matter of liking each other. It's a matter of respect, right? So, because knowing that we need to take care of this Bloodline 2.0, now that you're back, we need to eradicate these guys who think they're the Bloodline. And that's where I think it goes from there. So, I'm excited for that. Overall, I got to say, Money in the Bank was a great, great PLE. It was awesome to see. Not what I thought it would be, and not even in a matter of who I picked to win. I just thought there was a lot of other avenues that they could probably go creatively. But again, I say it all the time. Who am I to question Paul Levesque? Who am I to question TKO? I know they have the whole thing plotted out to WrestleMania 41 and beyond. So is it sour grapes for me? No. But I am very excited to see moving forward who and what goes forward for matches, wins, rivalries, things like that. So after the Money in the Bank PLE, obviously the coolest thing we have is the after party, the post show. Excuse me if I read a little bit off of what I have for notes. It just happened a little while ago before we went live. The first one was obviously John Cena. John Cena said he was going to answer all questions he had that everyone else had for his retirement. John Cena saying he was obviously the face of the PG era, looking to his legacy. As far as what we do going forward, WWE is obviously filled with a lot of folks, a lot of talent. And John Cena is not concerned with his legacy. He's concerned with putting on the best show for WWE moving forward, whether it be the Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, or WrestleMania. He did address the fact that he said that he would like to be a part of WWE moving forward as a backstage consultant, helping out, things like that. That was great to hear. But again, it's really tough to hear that about John Cena retiring. Someone like myself, seeing him debut, and now we're coming to a point where we really only have another year with him before he goes backstage, does some cool things backstage too. So that's also that's cool as well. So it's obviously a tour. It's not just a retirement, right? He's gonna be at the Royal Rumble, gonna be at the Elimination Chamber, gonna be at WrestleMania. There's a lot of guys. A lot of people were asking, who are you gonna face moving forward? Who are you gonna want to finish the story with? In your case, seeing as you only have maybe 6-7 months, Roman Reigns, Austin Theory, AJ Styles, Brock Lesnar, a lot of names that came up that possibly could finish the story with him, which make a lot of sense. He has a lot of bad blood, unfinished business with a lot of these guys. So that makes a lot of sense. So with that being said, I mean, 47 years old, right? So I'm going to be 40. I can just imagine with someone like John Cena, obviously he's in way better shape than I am. He probably squats 250 more than I do. So he's doing amazing. He's doing an awesome job. So it's going to be exciting to see how the next 8 months really kind of wind out with Cena. I'm excited for that. I'm a huge John Cena fan. So after John, he kind of hits the shower as he leaves. Then we hit Tiffany Stratton, our Miss Money in the Bank champion. A lot of questions. Obviously, the Trish versus Tiff questions. She was saying, obviously, a match between those two would be awesome. It'd be great for her. She's very much looking forward to that. A lot of people were asking the Nia Jax relationship with her, and a lot of answers that she had to a lot of questions as far as Nia Jax cashing in, things like that. She was saying a magician does not reveal her secrets, and that's why I love her. She's awesome, playing close to the chest, being the 8th woman of being a Money in the Bank winner. The only problem I have with all of that is the women are 100% are at 100% for cashing in. I really, really hope that Tiff is not the one who starts to put the O in one. So that's one thing I hope for her. Hopefully it's next year when they decide to put someone in a loss. Hopefully it's not Tiff Stratton. So next up was CM Punk. Guys, listen, I was waiting. I was waiting to talk about this on my spaces, on YouTube, on X. Punk is in rare form. I even looked over at my wife. The fact that you saw him with the pastry box, and the fact that he lifted that up, it's almost he took that from AEW. You know when he has the pastry box, you know he's going to talk some shit about either his actual opponent, some opponents, or moving forward. You know when he has that box and some donuts, he's moving forward with some hot shit. So it was awesome to hear him give his flowers to John Cena. For a lot of you that don't know, I'm sure a lot of you do. CM Punk and John Cena are very tied in together, whereas Punk won the WWE Spinner Championship off of John Cena, disappeared into the crowd, and left because his contract then expired with WWE. He ran that belt around a little bit, and then he came back, obviously, with when John Cena won and CM Punk, all that good stuff. So the CM Punk stuff really got me. He's probably the one guy, not that anyone else is up there feeding bullshit, but the one guy trusts CM Punk, right? So Punk is talking about Cena, saying Cena and Punk and Cena, they're intertwined. They definitely need to have one more match. And I really hope in the next 6 to 8 months that happens. Phil, John, if you're listening, please make it happen. We need one more match between the both of you. I think it would be awesome. Punk also gave his flowers. Obviously, to Triple H. Gave his congrats to the men's and the women's Money in the Bank winners, obviously. Again, the biggest thing, my biggest takeaway from all of this is CM Punk's involvement in the whole Money in the Bank cash-in, right? Again, I've told you I'm a big CM Punk fan. My biggest problem is at 12:29 a.m. on a Sunday is that now there's no Mr. Money in the Bank for the next 364 days. And that pisses me off. There was no reason to have Drew climb up that ladder and win that belt. Or I'm sorry, briefcase to go to the belt. There was no reason to grab that briefcase and then cash in 25, 30 minutes later. What are we doing to Kane? At least when Kane cashed it in 55 minutes later, he won. This is ridiculous. You could have just included Drew McIntyre into the main event or into that match at some point and still had CM Punk interfere and cost in the match. I know I'm being redundant talking about the first match, which was the men's ladder. It's just one of those things that's going to sit with me. And we're going to sit here when we do our show next week. We talk about Raw. We talk about a weekly wrap-up. I'm still going to be pissed off because it pisses me off. Chad Gable was our pick. Chad was the best case scenario. And again, you're looking at me going, oh, it's sour grapes. Nah, it's cool. Fuck it. Give it to Jey Uso. That's fine too. Give it to Andrade. He's a speed champion. How good does that look for Twitter and for also WWE for your speed champion to be a WWE Money in the Bank holder? That's awesome as well. But Drew McIntyre was probably the worst fucking pick you could have tonight, and he's the one who won. I'm sorry. You don't like it, come to me in the comments. Everyone already has on Twitter. Oh, you superficial people. You instant people. Dude, it's bad booking. It's bad booking, man. Drew could have been inserted into the triple threat into a match, making it a triple threat. See, triple threat. Again, those of you who actually watch wrestling, right? Triple threat. What does that mean? No DQ, right? So CM Punk still drags his ass over the barricade, still hits Drew McIntyre with a punch, still hits him with a chair, still chokes him out with the wires. And guess what? You could still have the same outcome where Priest still comes out being the champion. Doesn't make any sense to me, man. I'm telling you, it's fucking wild. You guys that exist in the XIWC are crazy to me. Because you don't want to hear what I have to say. You're just like, oh my God, you're such a fucking fickle person. No, you don't see the big picture. And maybe I don't see the big picture. That's the one thing about me. Maybe I don't see the big picture. Maybe there's something else going on. In another 4 or 5 weeks, I'm going to go, damn, okay, I get it now. I see why that happened because the way they need to go. But I digress. The last person that came out for the Money in the Bank PLE scrum or the media greet was Paul Levesque, doing the usual, doing the rounds, talking about how obviously this is one of the biggest PLEs in Toronto, massive gates, massive March sales, massive buys on Peacock, and people signing up for Peacock to see that stuff. He also touched on a lot of the things that I've talked about for probably the past couple weeks. NXT going to CW, SmackDown being on USA, and Raw debut on Netflix in the next 6 months. WWE is in a big influx of change, right? So someone like me who watched a lot of Attitude Era, things like that, you're obviously going to tune into Netflix and see what this new TV 14 era has. It's not going to be the stuff you think it's going to be that Vince had and all the crazy over-the-top stuff. They're not going to do that off the bat, but it'll get there. But the fact that they went TV 14 speaks volumes to the inner child in me, to the inner kid in me that wants to see them doing crazy stuff, right? CW is going to be awesome. I said it a couple months ago. NXT is going to be a moving third brand by the end of this year, by the end of 2024. We go into 2025. With the CW, NXT is going to be traveling out of Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Boston, Maine, over to Mississippi, over to Atlanta, all those cities, all those places. NXT needs to be its own self-sufficient wrestling show being on CW. There's no lead in from Raw on Monday nights. There's no nothing. You're not on USA. There's no help from SmackDown. There's none of that. Same thing with SmackDown. I would like to think the USA kind of gets their head out of their ass. And no disrespect to USA. I love you guys. You guys got to go TV 14. If you want some viewership, you want some ratings, you want guys to tune in, guys and gals, I apologize, to tune into your stuff, you need to go TV 14. It's been that thing for 2, 3, 4 years. AEW has shown you that. AEW, they drop swear after swear, word after word, blood, chair shots, all that good stuff. But if USA, if you CW, obviously Netflix doesn't give a shit. Netflix is going to run. I cannot wait to see what the storylines are on Netflix. Okay. Those are going to be amazing. But CW has already committed to being a TV 14 program. CW I can see as someone coming out as, if you watch wrestling long enough, you'll know about Spike TV, TNN. CW wants to be more edgy content on network TV. And that's exactly what they can do if NXT is popular enough, gets the edgy content, gets TV 14 kind of stuff. SmackDown is the outlier. They're still left on USA. They're still the ones who have to be TV PG. I'm not saying that they're going to be like the third brand, right? But when you put the PG restraints on a channel, and I'm not looking. Listen, when I watch wrestling, I don't need F-bombs. I don't need swears. I don't need blood every day. I don't need chair shots. I need edginess. I need when the right asshole needs to be dropped. Right? I need when the right time for me to bust you open, you to bleed, makes sense. That's what I need. I do need it to happen every single week. I don't need that. That doesn't make any sense. Okay? So, with that being said, Paul Levesque said it best. I apologize. These guys are all lining up on networks that are going to be awesome for them. Paul also addressed the ref botch in the Priest Rollins match. He addressed it as Triple H. He also addressed it as him being Paul Levesque. Triple H, you get pissed off, you go in the back. WTF, man. As Paul Levesque, shit happens. People are human. Things happen. It is what it is. I don't think it took anything really away from the PLE. But with that being said, I think it was great. It was a great Money in the Bank. I was expecting a little bit more as far as storyline wise. And I don't say that because a lot of my picks didn't win. But I'm saying that I think they could have done a little bit more. And I'm not one to kind of question Paul Levesque. I'm not one to question Nick Khan. I'm sure whatever they're going to do and whatever is going to happen down the road, I'm sure that's going to make sense. I'm going to sit here in October, November and go, oh, okay, I get that. That makes sense. That's why they did that back in July. Totally get it. Totally understandable. Not even mad about it. But I think Money in the Bank was awesome. It was a great PLE. Made a lot of sense. Besides Drew McIntyre cash in, I'm glad that Tiffany Stratton won that. It's good to see the Bloodline taking a W, getting Solo winning against Cody Rhodes, moving on to SummerSlam. But yeah, other than that, it was a great time to watch. Very, very excited to see what SummerSlam brings. I'm sure Mommy will be involved. Judgment Day, LA Knight, Logan Paul, all those guys are going to be involved in whatever we do in the next 8 to 12 weeks. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching this, I appreciate you guys. Tune in every Monday for a new episode dropping. Also, subscribe, ring that bell. Check us out for any time we do special edition episodes as well. So I'm John Anthony, a driver in the top production. Thank you so much, guys, for Cheers Out Sports. Have a great night.